everybody? It's your boy, the Mind of Murdoch, the one and only. And what's up, YT gang? Make sure you show that love, hit that like and subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Right here, live, as you can tell, we have the NFL draft. Now, the thing is, I'm a huge Bears fan, as you can tell, all day, every day. So at the end of the day, I have my opinion. And, I'm always talking stuff up on my streams and in chats and family members, friends, and stuff like that. And, I'm one that's usually, put your money where your mouth is. So guess what? This is us putting our money where our mouth is. So we're going to have a few simulations right here, a few mock drafts we're just going to go through real quick that I simulated that I was wishful thinking, those hopefuls, you never know. And then we're going to see exactly how you all feel. Make sure you comment down below exactly how you feel. If you disagree, you agree, any of the sleepers that I might not have seen, anybody you're looking forward to later on this week during the combine. And some of the biggest things we're going to go ahead and start off with today would be the mind of draft. So we're going to start off here with our first draft. Our first draft, you can already tell, it starts off with us going with the one and only number one, Justin Fields. We're going to go ahead as Bears fans. We've seen the potential, we've seen what was wrong, and we see what we could have if we get some stuff right. It's a lot of wishful thinking once again. That's kind of going to be the title of this, wishful thinking, right? But so this is with us keeping the first pick and then trading it. We're going to trade it to New England. And when we're trading it to New England, they will actually give us the first and the second for next year. And then we move down. That's all I did. No player, no nothing. Just kind of kept it like that. They were like, oh, cool. That's it. They offered it. I took it. Cool. So what that ended up doing, we end up getting Marvin Harrison. After that, at number 9, I was really, really sitting there thinking, I'm like, man, we already took care of Justin Fields with having his wide receiver help, right? We already got that. So since we got the wide receiver help, what do we need now? We need to make sure that man can stay upright. We need to make sure if he wants to, he can sit back there for 3 to 4, 5, 10 seconds if he wanted to. Not realistically, that would be very bad, quarterback play. But at the same time, that would be bad wide receiver play, like nobody's getting open. But anyway, I went with CJ Latham here. This is a very, very interesting pick here. There's so many other teams that could easily have gotten him beforehand. But if he drops at this point, that would be nasty. That would definitely be crazy. So switching over to that draft pick that we actually got, that they gave us during the trade, we got Tyler Nubin, safety. Definitely hard-hitting safety. Let's go ahead and check out a few things about him. I believe he's like 6'1", 6'2", 210. Nasty, versatile member of the Good Football Player Club. Now, the thing about that is he's basically saying he's just all around a great asset. You can't lose with this pick if you pick him at the right spot, basically. You know what I'm saying? So why not? Pick number 34. That's what I went with. And then after that, realistically, while the draft was going, I was looking at the standings and seeing how it was going. I'm thinking, man, Bears would be nice to look for that edge. Edge would be nice, but at the end of the day, I really think our issue is we can't get any pressure up the middle. So I went with Chris Jenkins. And then with me going with Chris Jenkins, that actually messed up the plans of the Patriots at that moment, too, because they were coming right after that. And in a few of these mock drafts, they've actually grabbed Chris Jenkins. So win for us, I guess you could say. Then I go ahead. I said, you know what? I'm going to mix up things a little bit in this draft and go ahead and go for Trey. Just because of the fact that, Khalil, he's all right. He's definitely a good running back. I see good things for him eventually. Roshan needs more speed, needs just a little bit more polishing. So at the end of the day, having Trey Benson wouldn't have actually been bad ad. And then also it kind of mixes up the league because by this point, other teams would have been looking for a running back of his caliber. Boom, now we just messed up their whole draft board. And then they kind of have to reshuffle and figure some stuff out. Right after that, you see I got Theo Johnson. Theo Johnson, huge playmaker. Huge playmaker. Out of Penn State. Tight end that had, when I was watching some of his film myself personally on the was that Senior Bowl, I believe, and a few others, not only does his height stick out, but it's just his performance. It's good to see that we got these dominant big men in the league that are actually using their height appropriately, and not necessarily just being big and just being blockers. So he was doing his thing. Great hands, everything. And of course, Jacob Cowling, great Cowing, my bad. If I said it wrong, my bad. Great additional wide receiver, overall. He has a nice package when it comes down to his overall kit. If his kit is made more of a, how should you say, that's really what it is. Yeah, actually, yeah, more or less what they're saying here. Yeah, yeah. Sad to say, I have to agree with everything that they're saying right here. I do, because I just read it a little bit, and I actually do have to agree with this. There's others, but overall, I believe with his potential, his speed, size, he may be able to give us something that we actually end up losing with Darnell Mooney 2 years ago, when he was great with Justin. Not great, but good. Let's say that good. And then moving over, I did finally take care of the edge issue with Javon. A nice edge from Troy, big body, solid. You can kind of teach him up, but overall, my focus was kind of making sure that the middle was solid. The left side, we can go for free agency. And I mean, the right side, we can go for free agency, opposite side of Sweat, whichever side is Sweat, because they might swap them out, swap them around this year. But opposite side of Sweat, free agency, handle that just so he can have someone that he can guarantee, that works out with him. Why not? Let's get a Chase Young maybe on the cheap, on the low, depending on if, San Fran decides to retain him or not. But anyway, let's go ahead and keep it going. So, and then as you can tell, we have those 2 additional picks for next year. So moving on to the next one. This is another one scenario where we keeping Justin Fields. Now, let me actually head back for a second. I'm going to make sure I show the first round so you can all see what actually happened in the first round. So the first round, you got Caleb Williams, Drake May, Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt, Malik Williams, Olu Fashanu. Man, that's going to be an interesting one because I actually believe these might switch myself personally, but neither here nor there. Roma Dunze, another player that the Bears definitely should keep their eyes on. Dallas Turner and Latham. Yeah, as you can tell, Latham's there. And number 10 would be Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers, that's going to be a hidden talent. Whoever gets Brock Bowers is going to have a difference maker. At the end of the day, that's what they're going to do. They're going to have a difference maker. So let's go ahead and switch on over to the second one. The second mock draft, kind of the same. Things worked out a little bit different. Had a few more trades throughout. So other than having to go through blah, 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 blah of who gave me what, so on and such, what I'm going to do to make this a little bit easier, evaluation for you all. And if you do have any questions and comments about any of these, you can go ahead and let it down up in the comments below. And I'll go ahead and in another video express a little bit longer on certain ones that get a bunch of comments or, votes or whatever. Not votes, but, if y'all talking about it, I'll make sure I'll be about it and, go through it like, yeah, this happened and this happened throughout the rounds, right? But anyway, here we go. Here's my second rendition of the mock draft. So we got Marvin Harrison Jr. Then I was like, you know what? Let's make sure we protect Justin. Let's get him Jackson Powers. Okay. So that means all we did was trade down to number 2. We gave them, we gave Washington, Caleb, of course, because they're going to get him. We grabbed Marvin. Then we got Jackson Power with number 9. After that, we still went and got Chris Jenkins. Went after Newman after that. Same thing. So you can kind of see it's kind of the same feel of how I'm feeling about it anyway. Then a slight little twist right here. We went Rome Wilson. Rome Wilson, a great wide receiver, but at the same time, he is very small in stature. So I don't necessarily see him being an actual target for the Bears because we're trying to get past that small gadget wide receiver, if you want to say, because realistically, not to bring any offense to DJ Moore because he's an extremely talented person, but he's the shortest person that we would want on the team, realistically. After that, you would need someone that's extremely dynamic with speed, a la Tyler Scott type situation, so I don't quite know if they're going to go for Rome, but he was available at that time. And I was like, you know what, let's get another target out there for Justin just to make sure that we're doing something for him, showing effort. Once again, speaking about helping him out, O-line, get that O-line shirt up. We went with Blake Fisher. Right after that, I then turned to my Montez Sweat. Let's go ahead and get you a rookie that you can work with right off the bat. So we went with Zion. Then as just a little bit of a jab, this is something. This is you're gonna see him on a few of my boards, and it's not necessarily to mean too much, and it's not necessarily to even damage my readings, but it's just to be real. Brendan Rice right here, Hall of Fame legend. Man, his son is one of those. He's different, he's different, big body, um aggressive. um he's got that spirit, but at the same time it's something about his drive and his want at times to go get it. But he was Caleb Williams, one of his number one targets. So what I end up doing, just to make sure that basically Washington doesn't just get a full, just perfect team, so on, so to speak. And then also to make sure those picks that Washington gave us earlier are higher picks, I made sure to take Brendan Rice so that more or less they couldn't have Brendan Rice for Caleb's career. And he can be familiar with, one of his other guys, which he does have other guys out here that he can get familiar with. Anyway, let's go ahead and skip from there. So other than that, and like I said, that was a pickup just from that trade at 133. Then we're moving on to 143. We got Will. Once again, I had to shore up that line. I was really trying to make sure when I was looking at the board, I'm saying Justin's going to need help up front, going to need help to the left, because Braxton has been just getting dogged at times, right? But then also, I got to remember, over here, Jenkins gets hurt too, and he's sad to say, he seems like he's on his last leg, right? So since that's the situation, all I do, I take that into perspective. I say, you know what? Let's make sure that we have something in the back end. So as you can tell, for two of the last picks, I actually got Zach Zinter and I got Will Putnam, because more or less I want to shore up that position. And then at the end of the day, I just made sure to get another sure-handed target for Justin when it came down to tight end, and he's a good 6'4". So yeah, and you know what? Just for this one and for the next ones, I'll go ahead and do that. Just so you can see how the trade went. You'll see this is how the first trade went. The pick, they got Caleb Williams. This is what I got from it. That extra pick for next year. That was a part of that same one. That was, well, okay, I don't know what that was, but anyway. I think these were all the same. No, there you go. This was a trade also, so you can see the trade potential of what they're saying, potentially what may have happened. And I went for picks this year because there's so much talent this year in different positions. Not to say that there's a whole team you can build, but there's enough that you can say these guys will be better later. All right, let's go ahead and move along. So to the third mock draft. Once again, as you can tell, this is another one where we keep in Justin Fields and we're just moving forward in our life. Now, we had another trade. Same thing. Williams trade. Got a few picks. We got Jackson Powers once again. Gotta protect your quarterback, man. We had some horrible performances by Lucas Patrick, sorry. Horrible performances by what's his name? Cody Whitehair. And Cody was just god awful. It's just, oh man, it was bad. And then they blame Justin for a lot of those fumbles too and stuff like that too. Don't forget about that. So at the end of the day, Jackson Powers Johnson, he shores up that solution for 10 to 15 years. Easy. As long as he stays healthy, 10 to 20 years easy. I'll even say, 20 years easy. I can see him doing it as long as he keeps his body up. And then later on in his career, he just, slims himself and just becomes more stout. But at the end of the day, he's a demon down there. But anyway, then we went to Newman. Then I shored up the D line right up in the middle. I want the big boys in the front to bring some pressure, and I also want Sweat to come off the edge. I believe in our linebackers right now, so I'm not too necessarily worried about them giving up too much. But at the same time, as you could tell on the next pick number 72, I actually picked Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is going to be different. I think that the fact that we have all these legend sons coming out here, I want to give him a chance. You know what I'm saying? Why not? Let's give him a chance. Let's see what they do. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if it's in the blood. And not just that, he's actually pretty damn talented, right? So at the end of the day, picking him up, putting him on the left side, in place of Sanborn, or possibly right behind Noah Sewell if Noah doesn't necessarily work out. I do want Noah Sewell to work out for the Bears, but at the end of the day, we tend to have issues making it work. So, moving on, we then have the offensive tackle, Paul, big dude, extremely huge athlete. I mean, I checked out some of his tape and I was like, okay, if we have a line full of 6'5", 6'8", I mean, six, let's say between 6'4" to 6'7" and 6'6", oh man, it would be devastating. And this is also a big boy, man. He's stacked, like they're saying. Just yeah, sure up the line once again, like I was saying earlier about them, and really just trying to make sure that the Bears can give Justin the time that he needs to progress through whatever he's doing, whether it's a running play, pass play, whatever it is. Excuse me. After that, I noticed on the board, I wanted to give Justin a little bit more help. We missed out on Brock Bowers. We missed out on the other tight end. What was his name that I just drafted him last one? Theo Johnson, because I'm really looking forward to the Bears getting Theo Johnson. So since we missed out on Theo, I was like, you know what? Let's just get him another target, get him someone out there, replacement Darnell Mooney. Boom. Xavier Legette. Let's go. Pure talent, 6'3". So we have the 6'4" Harrison, 6'3", and then we got the 6'2" or 6'1", whichever one, DJ Moore. Let's get it. Let's have some fun. You got your 6'5", Cole Kmet. I mean 6'6", but geez, this is the size alone, the talent alone, and now you just got to get them to do what you want them to do and just execute. Right. Then after that, let's shore up that defense a little bit more. Now, the thing is, I understand I went extremely defensive tackle heavy in this, right? Because I got two of them in this. Thing about having these two is I do believe in Dexter. I do believe in, what's his name? I forgot his name right now. But basically, I believe in both of those boys in the middle that we had got what was that, a year or two ago. The thing is, though, production is the biggest thing that I'm worried about. And my other thing is, when I'm not worried about production, I'm just looking at the baseline. This new coaching regime, the defensive coach that we have, what I've noticed in his game plan is that he does a lot of, what do you call it, switching out players. And so at one moment you might have, it might just be, what's his name? Yeah, Rookie Orojo. Oh, yeah, he might be out there for 2 plays, and then you mess around and put Smith in for 3, and then you'll put Javon in for 4. Like he switches it around. So the fact that he actually game plans and makes it a lot more difficult for teams to really understand who they have in front of them, I would say you put talent like these two in front of them, it'll help us move around a little bit more. And then once again, as you can tell, there's that that troll pick, because another reason why I actually have a troll pick for Brendan Rice is because during the, what was that? I forgot exactly when, but he had an interview and he was talking about if the Bears should take Caleb Williams. He said they would be stupid, blah, 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 this, that. So I'm saying, why don't we be smart and take him and then not take Caleb, and then see how he feels then? Will he sit on the team and be like, well, y'all still dumb, but thank you? Or is he going to be like, man, Caleb, I mean, he was cool or whatever, but Justin, that dude, let's see how that goes. That's another thing I want to see too. And then moving on, I decided to get some more help. Let's say that we decided to just franchise tag Jalen Johnson, but then since we're moving on to someone like Stevenson, we're still going to need a backup for Stevenson, right? So then boom, there goes Kyrie Jackson. That's it. That's all. Put him in there. That's it. And then last, but certainly not least, with our last pick that we had available in the draft to make, I actually picked Luke McCaffrey. That is Christian McCaffrey's younger brother. He's a wide receiver. Why not? Let's get some Wes Welker, you know, uh, you know, Adam Thielen type gameplay, baby, because his gameplay, like how he plays realistically, if I want to be real, right? Because he's very small in stature and he kind of just, not gonna lie, he can be a Mooney replacement because he has, oh, well, they don't have it on here, but he has a certain skill set that isn't necessarily big, but it isn't necessarily small either. So it's like you can see his potential just like his brother. You can see his potential, and then, you know, Carolina didn't care about his potential. He went to the 49ers and he just continued to excel. So winning situations, once again, this is the in the blood pick. So we have Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and we have Luke McCaffrey. Both are somewhat just blood picks, just based on who they are. And then also you can tell we also get off on this with a first for next year, a second for next year, a third, and a sixth from Philly. Not from Philly, but it was from a different trade. So let's go ahead and check out those trades real quick. You can see where it came from. All right. Right here, we actually traded down from 9 to 10 because they wanted Malik Neighbors. So we gave them Malik Neighbors, which was perfectly fine because we already had Harrison, which is great. When a team wants to do that, that is amazing because you're like, wait, you want Neighbors? We already got Harrison. Oh, man, let me get that. Let me get that. So we got 3 picks out of the situation, which since it was 3 picks, as you could tell, Brendan Rice was one of those just, funny picks type thing, not funny picks, but he was like, okay, why not? Let's see. And then also that's taking a weapon away from Caleb. Just saying, just to guarantee that Caleb isn't necessarily great right now. We're not trying to sabotage his career because I know there's going to be some people down there in the comments. I'm like, you trying to sabotage him, but we're taking Brendan Rice. But no, I'm literally saying, why give him the farm when he can legit do what they said, right? Be Mahomes. Do it without Tyreek Hill, right? This is his Tyreek in college, right? Technically, or one of them. Anyway, so here, then we got Trout. Same one, and then we can look here. This is from the first pick. Same. Oh, sorry. Here. All right. Moving on to another one. Let's go ahead and get this going. If you already didn't do it, definitely make sure you smash that like button down there. Please let your boy know. Bear down, Bears fans all day. Look, I'm trying to do as best as I can to go ahead and get myself back started on this platform and stuff. I've been on Twitch all day. Link will be in the description also. So definitely check me out if you want to check out some gameplay and stuff like that. But I will be out here for the sports season and beyond. You're going to see me forever and ever at this point. Content should get better, to be cuts and stuff like that. But either way, check it out since then. Next, we got Marvin Harrison Jr. Once again, we chose to trade down. When we traded down at 2, this is what Washington gave us. They gave us 36, 40, 67, and a first next year. What I did, I got Dallas Turner. I made sure to shore up that defensive line. I got as much defensive help as possible. I made sure that we got the top. We got the best out there. Last year, we might have passed up on the guy that killed his friends. I'm sorry. Let me stop. I take that back. But the guy that, had the alleged situation, we passed up on him because we don't need more of that in Chicago. We don't. We already have enough of that with extra people, so we don't need any of that stuff. And also, Carter should be a great player at the end of the day, as long as he stays on the straight and narrow. So it's just, you just don't need it. That wouldn't have been good for him to come here with that type of attitude. It wouldn't have worked out because it would have kind of been fueled and so on. But either way, they're not worried about it. So then one player I've been looking at, my sleeper pick, one of my huge sleeper picks, and we're going to look at those also later. One of my huge sleeper picks, y'all. I'm telling you, whoever gets this guy, they got a charm. They got a beauty. They got a diamond in the rough. I'm telling you, big time. Jalen Polk, people. Jalen Polk. He's right next to Roma Doomsday, right? But his skill set shows that that team had just too much. They had just too much. And Michael Penix didn't have enough to get them all what they needed to for them to really rise. Because realistically, Polk is slept on, everybody. Y'all sleeping on. I tell you this now. The Bears need to get Polk. We need to have him as one of our backups, reserves, something like that. But we need to get Polk, period, point blank. But anyway, so this is how I went for that Polk trade. That was from the first pick. Then I said, you know what? Let's go ahead and shore up the middle. Sweat, meet Sweat. 6'4", another big boy, another force, another guy that can legitimately just take over a spot. We don't have to worry about his spot. He's got his lefts and rights. He got his left and right. The linebackers got everything else outside of it. And then you know, we go from there, that type of thing. So, but yeah, that's going to be a nice one too if we do go for Sweat. Once again, there's Pat. You see that big boy Pat, 6'7", old lineman, sure it up. Then we went for one of the sure-handed tight ends in the draft right now. We're going to see how sure-handed he is. Hopefully he does actually work out at the combine, because we're going to be checking that out. I'm looking forward to seeing so many of these guys. It's going to be so much tape that we're going to be looking at. And depending on which people that you guys actually put down there below that you would like to see, and then that I would like to see, we're going to have a handful or a whole lot of players that we're going to look at and reevaluate and talk about before the draft. And then hopefully right after the draft when they become Bears. And when they become other players too, because, you know, we're going to have our favorites. We're going to have our list and stuff like that. All right. Then what dropped down to us? I was watching this draft. I was looking at this draft and I'm like, man, if this player drops down to us, we're actually going to get a steal, I feel. This is going to be a steal. I feel like this is going to be another Tyreek Stevenson situation. And guess what? I think it might be Cam Hart. Cam Hart dropped down to us. This is one of the first cornerbacks you guys are seeing on my mock drafts, only because it dropped down to us, and he was available in other mock drafts also, but other people were also. So with this one, I basically looked at it as I want more big body everything, right? The little dudes is cool, but if you're big bodied, you could disturb everything. Now, yes, the little dudes will get past you, you know, and they're a little bit more squirmy, if you want to call it. But at the end of the day, big, physical, you should be able to lock them down, do what you need to. So that's what I went with Cam Hart. Decisive playmaker, just overall great talent. Then once again, you're seeing Mason Smith, defensive tackle. Dominant big boy once again for that line, just trying to shore up and give Montez as much help as he can. So right now you're looking at the picture right now. The picture is Montez and two big boys in the middle, young, strong, and just don't know how to not go forward. You know, all they know how to do is just go forward. That's it. So that's what we're looking forward to. And I'm looking, oh man, this is going to be great. Then speaking of going forward, let's make sure that we got some big boys to stop them. So I looked at the draft board and I made sure to reevaluate it and look at it properly. And I was like, you know, right now, we got some other positions of need, right? But at the end of the day, the positions of need that we have are never as important as protecting our QB. Protect number one. So right here, I went out and got Ladarius. Then we moved on. I decided to then get someone to help out Khalil and Johnson, Roshan, because most likely we're going to go ahead and let Foreman go, and we're going to let Travis Homer go most likely. So we went and got Jace out of Alabama. Once again, then you're seeing Omar Space. Omar Space has been one that's been moving up my own personal draft boards when it came down to linebackers, if we're looking for a linebacker. End of the day, decent coverage. Overall, just sure tackler, I feel, personally. And over here, logged over 300 tackles in his career. 6'1", 237. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. And he's a disruptor and a tackler. I mean, you really can't ask for too much when it comes down to a player of his caliber at this point in time in the draft. And then, again, sure up that line. I got another boy, Charles. Really trying to make sure that Justin has everything that he needs. Let this be the first regime that actually gives Justin O-line and weapons. But right now, he already did the O-line with Tevin Jenkins and what's his name. He tried that. Next, now it's time to go ahead and do weapons, O-line, defense. Or, you know, weapons, defense, O-line, whichever one. But in general, we need to make sure we do something different. And then, of course, you can tell we got another first, a second, a third, and a third next year. So that was all making sure that basically we can dominate next year. Next year is another Bear season at the end of the day, where people are going to be looking at the season. They're going to say, damn, hopefully these teams, and see, this second is whatever, but really Washington. Everyone's going to hope Washington with Caleb Williams does so great. But if Washington does the same exact thing that Carolina just did and becomes one of the worst teams, we're going to be once again at the top of the draft just because the other teams suck, not because of us. Realistically, if this would have never happened, we would not be talking about Caleb Williams, and we would be talking about Justin Fields in the 9th pick and just adding a weapon at 9. Or possibly trading down to get more people. And then at that point, no lie, my draft would have started off with Jalen Polk. Because by then, everybody would have been took. There'd have been a bunch of players took, and they probably would have started off with Jalen Polk at 40, where you have it here. But that's legit. I would have at least gotten him some type of talent because I know Rome would have been gone. You still got Xavier Legetts and stuff like that, but you can get them later on if you wanted. But yeah, so these were the 4 that I had for Justin Fields. If we were going to keep him, the mock draft is going to be just an example. Of course, it's nowhere close to what we're going to actually do. But this was that pick. Let me make sure I'm showing you all the picks. I just thought about it. So you can see how that broke down. Because Bears went for players this year. We went for players. They wanted somebody. You can take them. If you want one person for 4 this year, and I know for a fact there's 4 other people that I know I want, I'm going to get those 4, or I'm just going to secure those picks for another time if I don't want anyone at 141 that's potentially up there that, you know, that's just like everyone's worth it, right? At some point, right? Every player is worth it. But that looked worth it more than me. This right here, if this actually turned out, I believe this would be a better turnout for us in general with these players compared to that one. Because we do got to start doing that. We got to start comparing every pick to that one player and then see, was it worth it? Was it worth it? Just like the Bryce one. Was it worth it? All right. So now, last but not least, let me make sure. Yeah, last but not least. Is the last one for Justin Fields, everybody. Once again, I appreciate you all being here. If you enjoyed the comment, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this. At the end of the day, I'm just doing this one by one, starting off this channel, this YouTube channel, and doing my content on Twitch. And every now and then, we're trying to see what we can do. If we can go ahead and grow this channel, we're going to go ahead and do what we can do past that point. But for now, I'm just going to, we're going to stay humble and just keep it forward. Not even going to keep any goals. We're going to wait until, those start mattering. But at the end of the day, thanks for being here. Make sure you hit those follow, subscribe, like, whichever one it is. My bad. Anyway, let's get it. Last one with Justin Fields, everybody. So we have Marvin Harrison Jr., Jackson Powers. Then we got Newman. Newman. Look, Nubbin or Nubbin is going to be a difference maker, okay? I think if we can get a 2nd round pick, use one of them to get him. And I say use the first one to get him. If we get 2 picks from Washington, use the first one to get him. Use the second one for Jalen, just like how this looks. But I would that is almost guaranteed. If we get those 2, if we get 2 picks from Washington, I want it to be Newbin and Polk. Period. I want it to be them 2. Period. Point blank. If that, what? Man. Anyway, let's keep it pushing, y'all. Then we went out for another safety, just to shore up the position and then also make sure, because, Jaquan is out there just putting his head through a wall sometimes. Scud, missile, bullet, night train, just own it. So we got to make sure that we can help him out. Tell him to relax every now and then. Go ahead and get Kalen out here to take care of him. Defensive tackle for the middle. Cam Hart, once again, he was down there. Found him. Oop, let me grab you up. And also Cam Hart, the fact that he's 6'2", it gives me a lot of reason to see his upside other than his downside, because the smaller guys, you're not only getting beat by, let's say, potentially a big guy's speed, but you're also getting beat by his size. Let's say with the big guy, you're not getting beat by the speed, but then now you're also able to match up. So now, even though he's a smaller guy, you're just really worried about being in a proper position to stop him. Once again, went for the sure-handed tight end. And then, of course, Tanner. I just had to myself make sure that I was stirring up the line for Justin Fields and that he would get everything needed appropriately. Now, yes, this is the worst quote unquote scenario. I feel this would be the most boring yet most interesting on free agency draft right here, because yes, here we're going to take care of some serious needs with Marvin Harrison Jr. and with Jackson Powers and with Newman, and with having that extra makeup for Jalen with Polk, right? So we're going to make up for, and then also making up for not having any tight end help. So we're going to make up all together with a bunch of key positions. But this right here does make it that the Bears aren't going to be making too many moves. They're kind of just going to meticulously jump in and out and do what they need to do. And at the end of the day, what you could do, you could just replace some of these players with their same position, but just replace the players. So at the end of the day, I would still say wide receiver, offensive tackle, safety, wide receiver, that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? So if it's not Tyler, it could be someone else because it's making up for Eddie, and then so on, making up for Mooney is Polk. Same difference. All right. So here's for the Caleb Williams people out there. If Chicago Bears was to trade for Caleb Williams, this is how the scenario would go. We would take Caleb Williams at 1. Now, with taking Caleb Williams at 1, of course, we missed out on second round picks, potentially extra later round, and so on and so forth, right? So we did some shuffling. We tried to make it work, right? So as you can tell, we got Caleb Williams, Brock Bowers. I decided to say, you know what? I want to give a sure target because we don't know Caleb. So it's not like we need to say Caleb needs a big boy target. He just needs a sure-handed target. He just needs someone that's guaranteed to move around, get open, and do what they need to. He can hit him when he needs to, so on and so forth, right? So boom, give him Brock Bowers. Then moving on over, when it comes down to the offensive line, I then chose to pick Cedric Van Fine. This the thing about Cedric. Nice athlete. At the end of the day, every time that I've looked at the film, it looks like he's had a pretty good stature about himself. It's just, what's that? It's called, let me see if they might have said it. He's an excellent mover. Yeah. So yeah, his first and second level. There's a huge difference in this first and second level. What I mean by that is, that first push. This is what I mean by it. I don't know if this is what they mean by it, but this is what I mean by that first push that he gets. It's good, but it's just that second push that he gets from somebody like pushing at him. It kind of, he lost. So let's just say not lost, but he needed some help, right? Or he struggled a little bit. So, or it was vice versa. The first one was like, then the second push was better. One of the two, but basically he was having an issue with his levels, right? It wasn't necessarily working out, and it wasn't consistent enough. So it was consistent enough to have him there in a position, because it wasn't as though he was giving up reps too much of his quarterback getting cracked like that or getting laid out. It was more of a situation where he just looked bad, like his mess ups weren't dramatic, if you know what I mean. So moving on here, then we're going to go ahead and get that replacement for Eddie Jackson. This man's right here. He's actually moved up in a few draft boards just because of his overall talent and his tape in general. I think he's all right. He's been pretty decent. I decided to get him over getting Nubin in this one just because, realistically, he was just higher rated. So I just decided to go ahead and go for him. He's shorter than Nubin, so that's actually kind of goes against what I was just saying earlier on the mock drafts, what I would like, but it is what it is. Then we got Mason once again running him back. Theo running him back. Zion. Hey, I had to get something for the line eventually. Like I said, I'm trying to make sure that I get a good amount of what the Bears needs. Not all of their needs, because if you're seeing any needs here that I haven't taken care of in any of these mock drafts, trust and believe. I am believing the Bears will take care of that in free agency. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. I mean, it could be that they had take care of a center in free agency and still draft someone like Jackson Power, Johnson, or Cedric as one of their old linemen, and then just shuffle the line around or something. But then Jackson Power is better as a center. So, but either way, neither here nor there. So Zion then once again went for a running back just to help out. He's a little guy. Really just extra support for the backfield. Something that I think that every team needs. Why not us? You know, that type of thing. And then as the last pick, Omar, once again, to help out the linebacking core, give them some rest because they're doing their thing. They just need some rest, realistically. And I got a feeling he'll do some things. And then, as you can tell, we leave off with a New York fourth. Going to the next one, we got Caleb Williams once again. In this one, we actually kind of just somewhat did it straightforward and just took everyone that we could. As you can tell, we don't have any additional picks for next year or anything like that. This isn't necessarily the best, but it's because of the fact that we didn't trade out any of our top picks. So what we ended up doing was we took Caleb Williams at 1. We took Roma Dunze at 9. Beautiful, beautiful pick. Very happy about that. Bullock once again. Zion came a little bit earlier. Theo, Will, good old lineman. At the end of the day, Will is one of those situations where I wanted to have a lot more. What do you call them? I don't want to say filler, but like, what do you call them? Filler. I can't think of too much more. But yeah, I just needed a little bit more. But at the end of the day, I see him easily being able to be a starter, taking over, doing what he needs to do. But at the end of the day, he still needs to fix up a few things. And then also, we can have him kind of replace or help out Nate Davis at that right guard position. Personally, that's how I feel. And then we went with Jaquan Jackson, wide receiver out of Tulane. Replacement for Donner Mooney, trying to have a little bit more help for Justin at the end of the day. Not Justin, sorry, Caleb at the end of the day. Because Caleb will end up having and needing, I believe, more of a top-down presence when it comes down to his wide receivers. So, and yes, the Bears do it. Yes, they do it. Joe Milton. Only reason why we're going to grab Joe Milton on the backhand side is just so that we can have someone of some type of ilk in the backfield, because I believe Bajent's going to go. We're going to trade him off or let him go somewhere that he's felt like he could be appreciated and get more money. So Bajent will go. So I can easily see us having Joe Milton as one of our backups and just kind of just there in the back behind Caleb and, them kind of just somewhat going at it for the position of starter, even though Caleb's supposed to be the true blue starter. But this would be a way of kind of making it, Caleb, you are the starter. You ain't got to worry about it. Joe is just here. We didn't draft him with any real ilk or anything like that, like any high meaning. All right. So then after that, at pick 219, we got Gabe Hall. Gabe Hall, a defensive tackle that we were taking with the interior mindset that he will be more of just a stout frame. You know what I'm saying? Yes, he can dominating certain positions. I mean, certain things that he does. But overall, I think he's just going to be a stout frame for the middle. I forgot exactly how much he weighed. Yeah, 295, 6'5". Just a big dude. Just a big dude, just to help out in the middle, kind of help out Javon and them, pick up with the rest of them, young guy, just to pick up. And once again, another running back, help out them boys, Khalil and them in the back, because sometimes they're not even productive. And I seriously don't want to see neither one on the field. Well, that's just me. That's just me. That's just me. I'm like, what? Man, put someone else out there, bro. These dudes can't run nowhere. And then at times, Khalil is going crazy. Roshan is knocking maybe 1.5 people over, that type of thing. All right, moving to the next mock draft. We have Caleb Williams. Picked him up again. Then we actually traded the the ninth pick. We traded the ninth pick. Cowboys got Luatu. They actually gave us a crap load of picks. So they gave us 2 picks for next year, and they gave us 3 picks for this year for the number 9 pick. So what I ended up doing, I ended up taking Jalen Polk, 6'2", 205. Like I said, this guy, I am looking forward to him being something crazy. Every time I look at it, he look different to me. He do. Something, it looks different. People might sleep on him, but I ain't sleeping on him. And I really hope Ryan Poles don't sleep on him, okay? Because, man, this dude, I got a feeling people sleep. Because they keep looking at Roma Dunze, and they're not looking at this kid. Man. All right, so rookie. Defensive tackle. Want to get a big boy down there. Again, we got the safety to help out, take care of a place for Eddie Jackson, so that we can just make sure that we have that shirt up a little bit, or at least someone there taking care of things. He is small in stature. Yes, he does 6 foot. He's not like Tyler, where he was 6'2", but at the same time, once again, we got to shore up that position early in the draft, within the first 5 picks, to make the reason we let Eddie go mean something. Now, if we're re-signing Eddie Jackson, then that's different. We could do something else with that pick. We don't have to go safety. We can change up some things. You might see another mock draft on that one. All right. Then after that, we shored up the edge. We shored up the edge, and we got Austin Booker. Then we went over to, and Austin Booker is a decent edge, actually, out of Kansas. At the end of the day, I'm looking to see if his game translates to the professional game, where he can do some of the same things that he was doing in college to some of the big boys here. So we'll have to see about that. And then also pay attention to the draft combine. It's going to be crazy this year. I'm looking forward to a lot of these talents jumping off the page. Theo, once again. Then we went running back. This time went running back a little bit earlier because I wanted to handle that position a little bit earlier to have more of a feel on who may be taking over the reins later. See, because Roshan with Justin Fields in the background is perfectly fine because he's more of a power back that can take over, that eventually, you get the speed, so on. And then, that's Roshan, Justin, and then whoever else is agile, right? But given this is a Caleb team, I mean, I don't see Roshan being as valuable because he's known for power at that point. So you're going to need someone that has power and that athleticism, but at the same time can get it done. 5'11", what is it? Oh my God. So you telling me he weighs as much as Adrian Peterson did when he came through, but he's just not as tall? That's crazy. That's a big boy. Anyway, then here you go. I made sure to give Caleb one of his favorite targets from USC, Brendan Rice. If you give him Brendan Rice, then at the end of the day, you have your familiarity. He can go to him when he needs to. If it's not working out with Jalen earlier, during the season or whatever, it's not working out with DJ, he can always go to Brendan. And then you got those 3 working it out the whole time. You kind of do it like that. Then you go off offensive line right here to shore up the line at that point. I was thinking we kind of keep Nate Davis, we keep Braxton in left, and then we just put him as the center. If not, we get another center, put him over there and take over for Davis or Braxton, and then switch over after that. And then just sharp the position for having Jalen, whether he's going to be, if he's franchise tagged or if he's not re signed, this would be a Jalen option at the end. And then, of course, we leave off the rest of the year next year with Dallas, 2 picks. Then last but not least, the last mock draft on today's video. Thank you once again, everybody, for being here. Definitely make sure you hit that like button if you enjoyed the content. So here we go. We're going ahead and we're kicking this off with, once again, Caleb Williams. But this one right here, I wanted to make sure I sold up a lot of issues instantly, and I wanted to get some of the best with the best, as they want to call it, right? They want to say Caleb's the best. People want to say it. All right, let him be the best. Here's Caleb Williams. Then we traded away number 9. When we traded away number 9, this is what happened. We traded away number 9 to the Eagles. Went all the way down to the Eagles, but we got 3 whole picks from them. We got Jared Verse from that, so we instantly shored up that other side from Montez Sweat. We got Xavier Legette, another target for Caleb. We also got Sweat right in the middle, so that you got Sweat on Sweat. Then you got O-line shirted up so he can have more time out there. We gave him his favorite target in Brendan Rice. We also gave him a big boy tight end. And then also, once again, took care of things overall when it came down to the safety position for Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson is one of those people that we do have to make up for whatever we lose with him. You know what I'm saying? Period, point blank, we really do. Because if we don't, it's not going to necessarily work out long term. Because if there's a lot of things that tells me anything, I should say, having continuity and having that healthy choice you can go to in Brendan, or a healthy choice you can go to in Xavier, or a healthy choice, you know what I'm saying, you can go to in Cole Kmet. When you're a rookie and you have those healthy choices, that makes you feel good because it's safety. And then if those safety choices make nasty moves, oh my God, as in you throw it 10 yards to Legette, he goes for 30. You throw it this, you know, so on and so forth, that type. You know, because if you realistically look at it, Patrick Mahomes throughout that whole Super Bowl was a bunch of dinking and dunking throughout the Super Bowl. The bunch of, here, you take this. Oh, you here, just right here. Same difference with Caleb. Caleb's game is more or less predicated on. Caleb's game has more of a optional way of being. It's kind of more it's not necessarily tailored because he does a lot of off script things, but at the same time it's scripted enough. So it's scripted that they tell him, hey, you're going up and then right. If you go up and right and he's still running, start running for this route that's doing the 10-yard curl. You start running towards him. Whoever's doing the 5-yard out, you start going away from him, but you know, in an angle that he can catch you. So they have their own options within those routes to know how to work with him. So it's just about working with people for a while and then having that work. That's it. Just synchronizing the gameplay around the game plan around them. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was my mock drafts for 2024. Looking forward to the rest of this combine. I'm going to be doing some adjustments to some of these. You're going to see some people move up, some people move down. If you have any different mindsets or adjustments on these things, let me know. There'll be another part coming out on this with, you know, more mock drafts and so on. So definitely look forward to that. And until next time, bear down, everybody. See you next time.